Welcome to a special announcement by the Good Advisors Finish First community. I'm so excited that you're excited, Julia. Like it's like I don't know, it's like we're feeding off of each other, but I am ecstatic about this. It's something that you and I have talked about. It's something that our members have asked for as we've built this community. It's something that is going to really enhance the offering for the entire community. What we're going to talk about today is more of a niche focus, and Julia will have you share a little bit more about what this program is geared for, or what the types of advisors that this would be most applicable for. But it is something that's going to benefit the entire community. So we're extremely excited to have Julia coming in and announce with us a new program that's going to be launched called the Freedom Advisor Inner Circle. And before we get into what all that is, Julia, I'd like for you to just, and your name is out there. A lot, certainly our members know your name. You know, this came up because it's something that was a direct ask, but your name is out there. A number of people are familiar, but for those who may not know you, if you can just give a real quick background on yourself, your business, and then I'd like for you to share a little bit about why you chose to do this program, Julia.
Sure. Well, yes, I am very excited to be here. And I am also honored to be a part of your community, the GAF community, John. And yes, very thrilled about saying yes to this program, which I'm sure you're going to probably talk about that. It took me a
Yeah,
little
you
bit.
did. Well, you didn't say yes. That's what we're going to say.
But
Your
yes,
your
this is,
first response was no. I don't want to get into that. Well, I guess real quick, get into that right now. Like when I first, Julie and I had talked about this. We were joking about whether I include this story, but when we first started talking about it, very graciously, Julia's like,
yeah.
I just don't have time. It's not something that I can do. And in my pitch back to Julia was, you're already doing it. All we're trying to do is provide a package, a way for you to give that information, these resources to a wider group of advisors. But anyway, that's where
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
initial no came from. But it was a gracious no, and it made a lot of sense. But again, it's so cool to see how that has now come to this point. So go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So, yes, I have been in the financial services industry. It was my first career, first and only career. So I've been in the industry for 25 years. I started my own firm in 2009. And just to give you a little perspective there, I think when I went independent, my first year was about 100,000 of uh, commission or revenue. And now fast forward, what is it, 2009 to now, like 14 years, we have a team of 20 and over 4 million in revenue. And yes, we have a lot of staff, but we're growing fast and we have big aspirations for the future. And so I would say that I'm an entrepreneur at heart, which means that I love figuring out how to build businesses. I love inspiring others to do the same. And I think just authentically sharing out there, and being a highlight of what I've done in the industry and growing the business. It's grabbed the attention of other advisors, a lot of women advisors that I love, that have reached out and said, "Hey, how have you done this? Have you structured your business? How do you do your business and 3 kids? How do you hire? How do you compensate people? All of that stuff." And so I realized that I really love helping other advisors. And I also really love, being the CEO of my firm and growing my business. So there's this, and I do think they're complementary. And so I think when you came to me with this opportunity, I'm like, all right, it does give me a way to like put it in a container and organize how I help advisors and actually be a very awesome complement to what I'm already doing.
And again, to expand on that, the no came from, it wasn't that you didn't want to do it. Obviously, you have a
No.
passion. It's something you want to
Yeah.
do. It's just this is part of the value that you bring. Like you said, the balance of having a family and trying to balance that with work and being very very conscious and thoughtful with your time. And we hear this all the time. Saying no in general is a really important thing. So many people try to take on too many things, and so that again, gracious no came from a place of not that you didn't want to do, is just, do you have the time? And another important thing that what makes me really excited about this is some of us, maybe I could get this way, can be a little bit cynical about some of the coaching programs and some of the things that are out there. You see programs from somebody who maybe didn't make it as an advisor. We used to joke about this back in the day, those who can't teach. But anyway, you see all these programs out there from people who maybe didn't make it, or it's the lion's share of their revenue where they're dependent on doing coaching or doing some of these things, sharing resources with other advisors. And that's all that they're doing. In your case, massively successful, continuing building on that great success. You're doing it today, and this is now something that you're offering as in addition to that, just as a way to give back. So I just think that's such a big differentiator, and I can't tell you how excited we are to be announcing this with you, Julia.
Yeah, I call it my passion project, right? Like that's, when I look back on my career, it was the mentors that did help me along my journey, that helped me shortcut to success. It was the coaching programs, that there are amazing coaching programs out there that I invested in and will still invest in, because I know that when I invest in myself, that is the best return and best investment I can make. And so I know how powerful mentoring and coaching can be. And the thing of that is it changing your business? Is it going to elicit the change that you need to take your business to where you want it to go? And so for me, you just want to kind of, when you're looking at who to hire as a coach, you want to make sure that they're going where you want to go, right? They're going to support you and ensure that they know the past, they know the way to help. So
Well, and so this isn't starting from scratch. You mentioned that there's a lot of advisors, especially female advisors, have been reaching out and trying to tap into some of the experience that you've had. So this isn't something starting straight from scratch. So can you talk a little bit about what you've been doing up to this point, and maybe a transition point, what we'll be doing with this Freedom Advisor Inner Circle?
sure, yeah. So I probably about 5 years ago, I was working with actually Investment News and helped create like a boot camp to do kind of a pre-conference. And we did one and it went over so great. And then the pandemic happened. And so I shifted to hosting and doing things virtually. And then after the pandemic, I'm like, wow, like advisors are really yearning for that face-to-face, that intimate connection. And I love the concept of immersion events and specifically retreats. And so I have hosted retreats for advisors where basically we go to a part of the country, we rent a home, I bring a chef, and we live together for 3 days and have this really cool experience together, which, yes, is pretty intense, but I think it's in those moments of like really working on self and understanding what do you want to create. There's a lot of different things we can do in this industry, and we're all different. And so what is that? What's your truth? And that to me is really important. Is I don't want to help people build a business like me. I want to help them build a business that they see for their future. And so what I have also found in those retreats, and my vision for this inner circle will be that too, is bringing this mindset, a different mindset. So often what gets us to one level of success in this industry or in any business is not what gets us to the next level. And so in the beginning, when it's just you and you're working hard and you're hustling, and it's like you are wearing all the hats in your business. But once you get to a certain level, you have to make that shift and that jump. And it's mostly in between our head where we have to recognize it and like, oh, I have to think a different way about my business, which is really hard because what you've done to get to that point has created success. But then to go to the next level of it, I call it surrender, is a very big mindset and a pivot and a shift in thinking differently. And so mindset work, it will be a big part of the inner circle. And I think it starts with that. When we can understand how we get in our own way and then figure out how to get out of our own way, I think you start hitting these higher levels, but at the same time, you have to raise your standards so you're not falling back. So I hope that makes sense, but I think really being able to step back and examine, what you want for your future, it will be a big part of this. And we all want different things, and that's the coolest thing about being independent.
Well, this is not for every advisor, and you've started to go down the track of who might be appropriate for the inner circle. Starts with mindset, and I think that's a really important starting point. But can you talk a little bit more about the type of advisor that would benefit the most from the inner circle, Julia?
Sure. I think the biggest thing is that what I have found that people are naturally drawn working with me is that it becomes not about the money. It's like they have this impact or calling that they want to help people, and create their impact in the world. And so it almost feels like a crusade or a mission or driven by a higher purpose to say, okay, I want to build something special, and I have this growth mindset. So that would be number one. Uh, Number two, I call it, abundance mindset or prosperity mindset. And basically, this is not a place to come and take. You can take, but I think it's important that it's a relationship that's giving and receiving. And so my vision is that when you come together in groups, and there is incredible amount of wisdom to be unlocked, in that group. So oftentimes, like when one-on-one comes together, it's not two. When you have people coming with this mindset, it's exponential. And I've had advisors that I've worked with, like, I don't know what's happening, but since I started working with you, it's like all these magical things happen or fall into place or become aligned. And that's that, little dose of, I call it magic, or intention, or when you're working with others that are in this vision of just pure good intentions, I think there's a lot of goodness that can happen.
Well, and as I mentioned earlier, this is something that I think is going to benefit the entire community. This is an optional upgrade, this Freedom Advisor Inner Circle, and it's not going to be for, again, every advisor. So I think you've laid a really strong groundwork of the makeup of the type of advisor. What does a practice look like? A tenure in the industry?
Yeah.
Who would this be most appropriate for in your mind, Julia?
Okay. I think too, if someone's feeling frustrated, because I know for me, when I had to go outside of myself to get help, it was when I was at a point where I was like burned out. I hit a plateau. I had all these like complexities coming into the business. I was frustrated. Like it's almost like the business had grown so quickly, but then I didn't have the right team or advice, support around me to get through. It's like when you turn up the heat, our natural tendency as humans is, how do I get back into my comfort zone? How do I dial it back? How do I take some time off? Which, yeah, you can take time off, but how do you build a business and still take time off? Like, how do you get it all? Because you can. That's what I have found is it's not about working harder. And when you're looking at 2024 and you have these goals and aspirations, but you also have this feeling of, I can't work any harder than I am, I would say this group is for you. And so it's typically probably an advisor that wants to hire or wants to build a team, or I would say it's probably not the lifestyle advisor. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But I think that um, where, obviously I'm passionate about this, but I would say it's an advisor that has a dream to build a seven-figure business, or beyond. And they may do that via a boutique type firm. They may do that by building an enterprise. But I think it's an advisor that wants to grow a good sized firm. Yeah.
So what does the offering look like then, Julia? What do I get for participating in the inner circle?
Sure. I think that it's not only support, but it's also, do you want me to talk about like the framework of it?
Yeah, or the
Yeah.
outline, just the things that you're doing. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. So each month we will be doing a live session within the group, hosted on video conference. That will be typically a topic around a timely topic of what's happening in the industry. So this could be what's working well in marketing, how to structure and compensate your team, how to look at your own business, your own P&L, and figure out what percentage should go to you as the owner, how to hire, how to know when you should be hiring, how much to spend on marketing, how to allocate those money. So there's a lot of different topics, and I think the best part is the advisors will be participating in the sense of helping build out those agendas. So I have years worth of topics that I can bring to the table, but I also understand the power of the advisors. Like, what are their hot topics, and what do they want to be talking about? So all of that. But then there's also allocated time for masterminding. So again, this isn't just about me. This is about who is all at the table and who's in this group. And there's as much wisdom there that can be shared within the group as well. So, and then the last piece of that is accountability. So, if we're doing accountability once a month, like what has to happen in the next 30 days for you to get closer to your 90-day goals, and then your 90-day goals feed into your 1 year goals. So I have a very specific, I call it financial seasons, strategy process or goal process. And we'll be doing that with the group as well. And then on top of that, we'll have, what did I call it? Ask Me Anything calls. So these are just informal calls where we will come together again via video conference, and it's the time for advisors to bring the frustrations or bring the very specific questions, or hey, what does your fee structure look like? What kind of CRM? How do you do your marketing calendar? Like very specific questions that get into the weeds. So that way, that's kind of that shortcut to success, right? If I have someone, if I'm trying to go here and I have someone that's already here doing it, I can go to them, ask the question, how do you set up this split code? How do you do this? How do you do that? And to me, I know that off the top of my head, or other advisors would know that. But if that person wasn't resourced, it would probably take hours of being on hold, trial and error. I think of hiring for me. Like I made so many mistakes of structuring deals with people that just did not work. And if I had the help and support that I know now, then like that would cut months, if not years, off the learning curve of that, and money, and heartache and tears, all of that.
And participating in the inner circle, I'll also have access to resources that you've accumulated and built up. Can you talk a little bit about what that looks like as well?
Yeah, so I think marketing comes to mind. So a big piece around how to think about your marketing, and then actual resources of copies of how we do our marketing. I find that like you don't need to reinvent everything. It's all out there. And so you actually have those resources where you can use in your business. And then also templates of like fee structures or an employment agreement or how to fill out the split code. That's a big thing. The split codes, like how to structure your business as you grow and add advisors, is critical to protecting your firm and what you're building. And so, it's standard operating procedures. It's how to do hiring, how to do interviews. Like there are a ton of resources around just practice management.
And again, this is an optional upgrade for current members. Good Advisors Finish First Community, but one additional benefit for anyone who's not, right, is membership in the Good Advisors Finish First community as well. Joining the inner circle is package, an opportunity to participate in the broader community, as well as this more niche focused group that Julia has been talking about so far. So what does this thing cost, Julia? Can you talk about pricing? And I don't know if you want to get into kind of how you arrived at it, but I'm sure that's something that people are interested in knowing.
Sure. Yeah. So the investment, I like to say investment is $300 a month. Of course, you can pay annually, but within that $30 is the $50 that goes to the GAF community membership. I wanted to be exclusively on your platform, John, because I think you are bringing a lot of value to advisors in our industry and community. And your platform is really easy to use and quick to get feedback for advisors on help with their business or be able to offer feedback. So for me, that felt good to be able to be supporting you and being building this in collaboration with that.
And so where should I go to learn more about the program? What's the best way to learn more about this?
Sure. Well, you can go to juliamcarlson.com/inner circle. So that is the landing page to give you all of the details. And then if you're ready to sign up, you can click there and it'll go to the GAF page to sign up. And I
And
would also,
yeah,
yeah.
go
Can
ahead.
I
Go ahead.
share one?
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I would say I would leave the advisors, thinking like I would say if you want 2024 to be your best year in business, like that's why you'd want to join and or upgrade your membership here. Um, I think the accountability when we track what we want to do, that's one level of it. We know that I'm trying to think of the quote. It's like what you track improves, what you track and report back improves exponentially. And so there's so much power in that. And I just have so much proof in my journey. And I know when we look at, sports or speakers or actors out there, if they want to go be the best at their industry, they hire someone, they have a coach, they have a community, they invest money in themselves to be the best. So I would say that's my encouragement that, whether it's this program or, another program that people will know if this is right for them, if they feel called to this, like trust yourself and jump in because we know ourselves best.
You and I talked about this a little bit tongue in cheek. The industry is very fond of the word guarantee. So what guarantees can I offer that this is going to have that meaningful impact on my business in 2024?
I say this, you are your guarantee. So are you worth the investment? Are you willing to do the work? And I like to say, take imperfect action because we all want to be confident before we take action. And it doesn't work like that. You take action, then you become confident. And so I think too, are you willing to define the future of what you want? Do you have that vision of your business? And if you don't, that would be a good reason to join because we're going to really talk about what is the future of you and what's the future of this business? What's your future business? And so I'm really big into this, like thinking about not our past so much. The past is how do we take the learning from that, because your past does not equal your future, right? You get to decide what you want, and then how is that pulling you into that? How is that vision like helping you make all of your decisions today? And lastly, I would say, are you coachable, right? Are you willing to hear the feedback, and move you, that can move you closer to your future self? And so if that all rings true, then I guarantee you will be a different person at the end of 2024 if you work with us.
There's your guarantee.
There's my guarantee.
Love it. So, if you're currently a member of the Good Advisors Finish First community, let us know. This is again an optional upgrade, so additional $250 a month, so $300 total cost. That includes the base membership. If you're new to what we're doing, again, $300 covers both the Inner Circle as well as the Good Advisors Finish First base membership. If you're interested in learning more, again, as Julia said, juliamcarlson.com/inner circle. I got that right, Julia?
Yes,
That's
that's
yep.
right. We can post
So
it below.
what? Oh yeah, we'll post.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can post that below. Goodadvisorsfinishfirst.com is our website for the community. If you are currently in the community, a member, Julia and I are she's now officially a moderator of this defined space within the community. So you can click on that space and learn a little bit more there as well, directly through the community. And obviously, feel free to reach out to either of us directly as well. Happy to share some more information. And really, I love the accountability aspect that you talk about, and the types of advisors. There are those coachable advisors. There are those growth-minded advisors out there, those advisors who are really looking to take that next step. And you have some fans, Julia, that would be willing to let other advisors know what you've been able to do for them so far. So if you're new to what we're doing, and would like to hear, not from me, not from Julia, from somebody else, let us know that as well. There's definitely some very strong advocacy out there within the advisor community, and growing for what you've put together, Julia.
Thank you.
Well, really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I can't even tell you how excited I am. It probably, hopefully, comes through. This is going to be really exciting. 2024, rolling this thing out. Again, let us know if you're interested in learning more. I just asked if anyone had any questions. We did have a couple people in the gallery here in Zoom, and I was trying to go on LinkedIn here to see if we had any questions or anything coming in, but doesn't look like we have anything. So either that means we have a quiet audience, or we covered everything, Julia. I don't know.
All right.
I think
Well,
we're good.
We can circle back if needed.
Sounds good. Let's do that. Well, thank you so much. Happy Friday. Have a great day.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. There we go. All right. Live stream is off. I don't know if those get anybody here is still on.
I'm still here.
Oh, Joe's still there. You stayed with us the whole time.
I did. Julia, how are you? I'm Joe Conroy.
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm interested in this. Julia, I'm also